Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the new Tier 7 campaign ship, the Friesland, the pan-Euro monster that is the Friesland. Let's get into it. First of all, we're going to be using Jerzy Swirsky as our commander because that's all you can use, so good luck. No, it's not that bad. Jerzy Swirsky, we have Eric Bay, obviously, for that extra concealment, and we get to run the new commander, Ding Rucheng, for that extra main battery reload time. Now, honestly, this might not be the best choice for this. I might switch Ding Rucheng out for the destroyer reload. I can't remember his name. I want to say it's Mordorf. Let's just look, because he actually probably gives a better bonus. So that would probably be the better one if you've got him. But let's just double check before I go run to my mouth. I'm fairly confident. A, he's higher level, and B, he should be a better, 4.8 reload time on destroyer guns. So this would actually be the better thing. I was just using the new captain initially, so in this video you'll see the Ding Rucheng as our commander inspiration for the actual gameplay. Keep that in mind. But yeah, let's go with Observant Rage. Look at me now. We are running Perceptive. You do not need the extra steering, which is why I say that, or the extra traverse on your guns. So that's why I went with Perceptive. Plus, it reduces the amount of damage that you take, which is really handy in a ship that's a gunboat. Then, of course, we're using Smoke on the Water for that extra smoke screen deployment time because you want to be able to get all the deck in. And I'm going to showcase a pretty good match where we get all the deck in. This is the official new record for myself as far as how many shells I've landed in a single match. So that's fun. And don't question that because I'm fairly confident the best I've ever gotten before this was in the Atlanta at like 370 or something like that in the Atlanta. But yeah, we're gonna have a ridiculous game in this thing for a DACA. We're gonna get like the perfect game to showcase the ship. In other words. All right, so we're also running Unstoppable. All right, let's go with the equipment now. We run Aiming Systems Mod 1. We run Steering Gears Mod 2. We're running Concealment System Mod, and we are running Main Battery Mod 3. This thing did have a little bit of a slow steering, but it's not that bad. It's 3.6 seconds with this build, which is plenty fine. Like, you can dodge pretty much everything with that. Now, the one thing I will say is a knock on this ship is the fact that it doesn't really have, very, very high speed. So that's a downside. But I'm telling you, you get this thing into a position where you can sit in a smoke screen and start DACing, it's actually pretty nasty. So let's get into it. We are running the smoke generator, obviously. We're running the sonar. The sonar in this has a 4.4 kilometer detection, so slightly worse than every other destroyer's ship detection. So, the German destroyers have the 5 kilometer detection. The British destroyers have the 4.5 kilometer detection. I'm trying to think of other ships, other destroyers that have sonars, and I'm coming up to a loss at the moment. But either way, 4.4 kilometers is pretty average for a sonar, and so it is nice to have that sonar. Is pretty nice. And then, of course, you get the engine boost, which does help with your slow speed. It does help you quite a bit, actually, especially with getting into positions. We're not running any boosters. We are running community contributor flag and the camo that comes with the ship. Let's look at the stats. Survivability, 17,600 hit points, which is actually pretty good. It's right there with the Fletcher, maybe slightly better than the Fletcher. Better than the Lo Yang. Lo Yang has like 1,400 less hit points or something like that. So this is better armored, or more hit points anyway, than the Lo Yang. Artillery, you got the 120mm 50 caliber Bofors number 10s. You have 4 of those in a 2x2 configuration. You have 2 main gun turrets. That's it. So the downside is if you get hit really, really hard and lose one of these turrets, you lose 50% of your overall firepower immediately. And you don't have torpedoes, so you're screwed, in other words. So that's the downside. However, that being said, I have yet to lose a single turret, ever. I've played 10 matches or so far, and I've yet to lose a single gun. So they're pretty tanky. 10.9 kilometer firing range is nice. 1.4 second reload time. 1.4 seconds. And I know that's not the fastest you can get it. I'm sure there will be guys out there that get this down to like 1.2 or less. So it's ridiculous. But the way I see it is, once you get to a certain barrier, anything less than that is what do you call it? Reduced returns, essentially. So you're getting less per perk spent or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There are other things that you could buff that you'll get a better buff for the ship rather than going for raw firepower. Because getting your reload time from 1.4 seconds down to a 1.2 seconds is not noticeable. You're not going to see any big change in the amount of DPM you have. Okay? It's just not. Okay? But anyway, HE shell maximum damage 1750 with an 8% chance of fire. These are only 120mm guns, but because they're a modern gun, this is a modern ship, or a more modern ship. This was built after the war, so keep that in mind. I think it was built after the war. Fairly confident. Anyway, the guns have a better fire chance than the American 127s, which is interesting. AP shell maximum damage is 2100, and the AP is actually decent in this thing if you get people to open up and give you angles that you can use it, or if you get the superstructures of battleships to shoot at before they are saturated. AA defense is solid for a destroyer, like really solid for the destroyer. You've got the 40mm 70 caliber Bofors that you have 164 damage per second that reach out to 3.5 kilometers. And then you have the 120mm 50 caliber Bofors number 10s, which are their main batteries, their dual-purpose main batteries, that you do 122 damage per second to reach out to 5.2 kilometers. So pretty solid AA for a destroyer, reaching up there 83 on the AA defense without any buffs to the AA whatsoever. So pretty solid for a destroyer. Maneuverability. Maximum speed is 36 knots, 620 meters turning circle, and a 3.6 second rudder ship. Now again, not the most agile ship in the world, but solid with this build. 3.6 isn't that bad. I think it was 4.6 or something like that before I added the steering gears. So you definitely want to give it a little bit of a nudge, but you don't need to go any lower than this. Having 2 seconds rudder shift is nice, but you don't need it. Concealment. Detectability by sea is 5.3 kilometers, so if you were thinking that these things were going to be like ghost ships, you were wrong. They're solid, average, 5.3 kilometers. And again, this is a gunboat, it's not a torp boat, so it's going to be firing its guns, so look for smoke screens and, you know, shoot at them if you get a chance. 3.1 kilometer detectability by air. 2 is always guaranteed, and 2.6 kilometer detectability while firing in smoke, which is really, really nice because that's going to come in handy for me. Anyway, armor. It's a destroyer. You don't really have any armor. You have 19 millimeters of armor pretty much everywhere, which is slightly more than most destroyers, I think. I think most are like 16 or something like that. I could be wrong. Every time I try to pull stats out of my brain, I end up saying it wrong, so I'll just leave it at that. Let's get rid of the armor and show you guys where the quote-unquote citadel, that's the armored portion, the vital ship part. So if you want to hit the engines and stuff right there, center ship, it is a pretty large area to hit, so keep that in mind. Overview. Reloader, above average main battery reload speed. Yeah, the only ones that can even compete are the Loyang and the Benson and the Fletcher class. Maybe the Akizuki. I can't remember what the Akizuki's reload is, but it's got 100mm guns. These are 120mm guns, so it probably reloads a little faster, the Akizuki, but yeah, these things are nasty. These things are nasty. Unlike the Akizuki, these things actually do damage when they hit, most of the time. I say most of the time. They shatter a lot of shells, but still. Tough. Above average base HP rating. Again, that's 17,600 is on the gunboat side of the scale, which is nice. Full circle. Main battery turrets can rotate 360 degrees, meaning they are always where you need them to be. And even if you need them to go a complete opposite direction, they take no time to get there. So these guns are solid. Friesland, the lead ship in a series of submarine hunters used by the Dutch Navy. The ship carried various anti-submarine weapons as well as 120mm Bofors dual-purpose naval guns, one of the most effective pieces of armament of the post-war period. She entered service in 1956, and there were 8 of them in the series, so yeah, well after the war. Now, one thing that you will notice is there are some missile launchers on this ship. These are anti-submarine missile launchers. You gotta love them. You see them right there on the like upper deck, right in front of the superstructure, right next to those AA guns. That's pretty cool. You get to see some missile launchers, but yeah, not too shabby. Not sure that they'll ever get any use, but you know, maybe if submarines come to the game, that could be an interesting mechanic. Know what I'm saying? But let's take a look at it. It is a very nice looking ship. I do like the look of it a lot. It's a more modern ship, so it does look a lot more like what you're expecting to see nowadays. It looks good. It looks the part. It looks nasty, and it is nasty. So, let's take a look at the other side, shall we? I mean, there isn't really a bad angle to the ship either. That's the other thing. The flat booty, could take it or leave it, but that's pretty standard nowadays anyway. But yeah, there isn't really a bad side of the ship. It's just a good looking ship. So, with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Crash Zone, and we are in the Friesland. Now, this ship has been a lot of fun to play so far. And between the two of them, I would say if this ship or the Loyang were your choices, because they are at the end of this campaign if you decide to get the Admiralty backing. If those are your only two choices, the Loyang is probably the safer pick. It is the better ship overall. It's got a little bit less hit points, but it has long-range sonar at that 5.5 kilometers. It has 4 guns, same as this, except they are in 4 separate turrets, so if you get one of them knocked out, you still have 3/4 of your firepower. And it has torpedoes, which you can choose between long-range or short-range, fast or slow torpedoes. Okay? So, the Loyang is probably the better choice for the average player. However, if you're looking for a fun ship, it's hard to beat the Friesland, man. This thing's a lot of fun. It really is. You can just kind of go right in and go after people and absolutely smash people. And then when you get the opportunity, like we are in this game, to sit in your smoke and just DACA, And this game could have been even better if the game had not just flat out refused to give me a fire after I got a permit, or like after the guy damage cons. You'll see that when it comes up. I was pretty salty at the time, not gonna lie. I probably hit this guy 200 times and didn't get a single fire after he had damage con. So yeah, wasn't thrilled about that. But that's the way it goes. When you're a fire starter, RNG giveth and RNG taketh away, and that's just how it goes. So you're going to have games where every time you fire at somebody, you get fires, and every time you fire at somebody, you get shatters and no fires. That's just the way fire starters work. It's unfortunate, but you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That sort of thing. Now, initially, I could have went straight into Bravo, but given the amount of firepower that usually spawns there and my lack of detection range, like I have a 5.3 kilometer surface detection. Going to the center of the map, probably not the best play right at the beginning. Even though I know their destroyer's likely there, he's in the cap already. So, I don't want to put myself in that position. Instead, I come over here to Charlie Cap to spot for these guys, as well as get in this cap and start controlling this side of the map. Now, obviously, we get the Wichita spotted out there, and not gonna lie, I don't know who hits this man, but one moment he's here, and the next he is gone. I don't know exactly what happened. I didn't pay attention to him in the match. But you can see, we're unleashing the DACA, and I mean, it's really just an unrelenting barrage of just firepower. Now here you're gonna see me, because he disappears, I completely forgot I have to aim further down, because he's not, you know, the game thinks you're targeting further away. But now that he lights back up, the game already starts firing back at him. We get a fire early, which is nice. He is going to damage con a single fire because every goofy battleship captain does. I don't know why. They've got all the hit points in the world. They're afraid of a single fire, and they immediately put themselves in a position to be just absolutely ruined because of it. But you can see he keeps firing his guns. We're going to keep getting good chances to set him on fire here. And you can see it's kind of difficult initially to learn a ship. So we get a nice fire there. That's a perma fire that's going to burn for a while. Are we going to get a second fire? Come on, baby. Can we get one more fire before he gets behind the island? And you'll notice the other thing about this ship. The shell trajectory is fantastic. Reminds you of a lot of American destroyers and light cruisers in that sense. Like, these things go straight to the moon before they come back down. Which means you can use island cover really effectively in this thing and just DACA the crap out of people. Now, you can see we're trying to hit that guy. We do get a fire on the Gneisno, and then we change targets, trying to shoot back at the Georgia, see if we can't get a few shells, showcasing that shell trajectory that I was just talking about. He goes dark, and then we look over. We have a shot at the Monarch, so we're going to go ahead and take it. And again, showcasing that fantastic shell arc going over the islands, and we are going to get some hits here. Knock out a little bit of the AA, and then the Jean Bart gets into the range to start DACA on him. And notice we still have 50 seconds of our smoke screen. It feels like we've been in a smoke screen for the entire match. But yeah, we're just getting started, folks. We're going to get it out here and just punish these guys. If you'll notice, the Wichita has went bow into these two battleships that are behind me on the left side. And we get a fire on the Jean Bart. And I believe he damage cons this one, and this is going to start the absolute just obnoxious not being able to get a fire. As soon as he damage cons it, there's our second fire. He gets a come on, go ahead and damage con. We know you want to. Well, he has damage con finally. And now we're going to start. So just go ahead and start the clock. Now, obviously, our smoke screen has dissipated, so we know we're getting detected here. And this is the part of this ship that I need to learn to get better at. We're at 8-9 kilometers, somewhere in there. And he's going to fire his guns at us, because why wouldn't he? We're the only thing, really, that he can shoot at the moment. So he fires his guns. I slow down and turn out, and he managed to hit me with, like, every one of his shells, because I slowed down. If I'd have just maintained speed, and that's the one thing I need to get better at. I need to get better at dodging in a destroyer, or a light cruiser for that matter, because it just seems like I always choose the wrong thing. If I stay going straight, then they smash me. If I slow down, they smash me. If I turn in, they smash me. If I turn out, they smash me. Here you can see I maintain my speed, and I turn out, he still gets a really good chunk out of me for 5K. And here we're hitting those turrets, which is why we're shattering so much. We are breaking some of his AA, not that it matters because there's no carrier, but we're not able to get into that superstructure like we're hoping for. You can see you have to walk these shells in, much like the American light cruisers like Atlanta and Cleveland. Sometimes you just have to walk the shells in, and finally we get a fire on him, and that's going to burn for a little while anyway. And we also managed to get behind the island, so we break contact. Not that it matters, because we're about to pop out from behind the island and get spotted again. We do have a good fire burning on him, and we are still shooting towards the front of that ship, trying to get a fire on the bow of the ship if we can. He damage cons this fire, which was just a single fire, and unfortunately, we're going to have to swing all the way back around to re-engage. Now you'll notice our smoke is already back, which is another thing that I don't know that I didn't really pay attention to how long it takes the smoke to come back, but it seems like it's back pretty quick after you've run out your smoke on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like your smoke lasts long enough that getting your next smoke doesn't seem like it takes very long. But we're going to get back up in here. We're going to drive in nice and deep right up in here and put ourselves in a position to attack as many of these battleships as we can with our guns. And we are going to get to DACA some more. Now, we're already at 283 targets hit. We have a fire on the Jean Bart. And the Iowa comes out from the left side. Now, as you can see, I'm going to start turning towards the Iowa any time now. Because I am close enough to shoot at the Jean Bart. I want to make sure that I'm close enough to shoot at the Iowa as well, and then potentially any of these other guys if we get a chance to smoke up here. I want to have as many targets as I can. Now obviously this guy that pushed forward is just begging to die. He's got flank shots from the Iowa on my left. He's got a pretty nasty angle for this Jean Bart to smash. We do start getting detected here because we started shooting before our smoke was set, but it doesn't matter. We go undetected. We're starting the DACA. This guy's not long for this world, and we're going to start absolutely roasting this Jean Bart again. Now remember, we had him already on fire, and he either damaged, conned, or it burned out. So we're going to keep firing at this man, trying to get this guy on fire. And I'm trying to hit the superstructure as much as I can, but we are hitting a lot of the guns. There's another fire. We're up to 8 fires for the game so far. And I want to get another fire if I can. I know that one's going to burn. There's a double fire that time. So that's going to give us a nice little easy way to get this kill. This guy's burning 3 times. He's dead. There's nothing he can do about this. And of course, in true Spartan fashion, somebody has to come in and yoink the kill. They didn't do any damage to the man, but by golly, they'll steal the kill from him. So unfortunately, we lose a little bit of XP there, but it doesn't matter. We start our barbecue of the Georgia. And I don't know what it is about being under duress by a fire spamming destroyer or cruiser, but battleship captains make some stupid decisions when they're under duress. Like, they really do. We get a fire here. That's our first fire on the Georgia since he's come out. And watch, he's broadside to the guys in the mid, and then he's gonna go, well, you know, if I can't go broadside to everybody, I'm gonna try, darn it. And so he gives himself an angle at which he's giving a juicy shot at the battleship behind me. He's giving a juicy shot to the guys in the mid. He's not really angled against anybody. And he makes himself a much easier target for me as well by giving me even more of that ship to shoot at, which is preferable. And we are absolutely breaking in the shots on this man. Unfortunately, we do manage to get a fire right at the end. Are we going to get the kill this time? Come on, aim a little higher. Thank you. We get a kill, guys. Woo! We did our job. And then the Iowa to my left has come into play just in time to have a little bit of fun. And so we're going to start shooting him. And watch what he does. Look at this man. He is going to turn in and bow tank a destroyer. Why? Where is the thought process there? Like, I get maybe he's expecting torpedoes. He doesn't realize that I was a Friesland, even though I've been spotted multiple times and I don't have torpedoes. So maybe that was his thought process. But he goes broadside to the freaking battleship that's on my left that he's had spotted the entire game. My smoke screen has disappeared here, but it doesn't matter. I go ahead and start shooting up into the superstructure. He'd already fired his guns and missed. And he's going to open up the angle, and we're going to showcase a little bit of the armor piercing as well. We get a fire, that's permanent. Watch these shots into the bow side plating here. And we get a couple shots in before the friendly Iowa finishes him off. Again, going broadside to a battleship to try to bow tank a destroyer makes no sense, unless the destroyer has torpedoes. So that's the only thing I can figure, but we had a pretty solid game. Remember, no torpedoes in this one. We don't get torpedoes on the Friesland. And we put up, what was it, 139,000 damage done? Come on, Spartan. 137,000, high caliber, 1 kill, 549 targets hit, 2,792 base XP. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.